Bauer.
Here.
Alderman Needleman.
Here.
Alderman Pandelleon absent. 8 present, 1 absent. Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Bertie. Will you please join me in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business this evening is reports of city officers. The first being comments by mayor. They have 2 items this evening, and the first item is an appointment of William Andersen to the Fire Pension Board for a 3-year term. You have his resume included in your packet, and I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Our second item on the agenda under my comments are a presentation on the 150th celebration presented by Debbie Saran and Susan Banks. So, Susan?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm here tonight reporting for Mike Rummel, who can't be here. He had a better date with Paul McCartney tonight. So, but anyway, I wanted to bring you up to speed as to what's happening on Wednesday as the 150th celebration continues on Lake Forest Day with an ecumenical sunrise service at Lake Forest Beach. It will begin at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we have 7 churches in Lake Forest that are participating. The entire community is invited to come. Parking regulations will be waived for the day so that everyone can drive down. And we look forward to seeing as many people there as possible. It will end by about 8:45, so all of you have time to get back up here for the Lake Forest Day Parade. And I think it'll be a wonderful, wonderful service and carry on the tradition of Lake Forest and how it was founded based on on education and community and religion. So, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to Debbie Saran, who is chairman of the Heritage Festival, which will be happening on Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Susan. Mayor Cowhey, members of the City Council, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak this evening on behalf of the 150th Celebration Committee. Mayors Preschlack and Rummel could not be here this evening. You know why Mike's not here. So I'm reporting on their behalf. Our entire community owes a debt of gratitude to both mayors who have spearheaded the celebration planning over the last 2 years. Our sesquicentennial year has been a busy one, with celebrations taking place every month, culminating in the Heritage Festival on September 3rd. The Heritage Festival is going to be a full day of activities, beginning at 2 o'clock with an old-fashioned ice cream social in Market Square, complete with the nostalgic tones of a barbershop quartet. Beginning at 3:30, relax to the cool jazz sounds of Clark Summers and his Grammy Award-winning jazz band. And Clark is a graduate of Lake Forest High School, for those of you who are familiar with him. At 4:30, make sure to visit the Taste of Lake Forest with a variety of foods available for purchase from 4:30 to 8 o'clock. Beer, wine, and specialty cocktails will also be available through vendors along Western Avenue, as well as Southgate Cafe, which will also be serving food. At 6:30, get ready to rock until you drop while enjoying the amazing sounds of Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dave Mason and his band. Seating will be available in the Forest Avenue lots, the Oakwood lot, and all throughout Market Square. Jumbotrons will also be available and will simulcast the show at all 3 locations, so everyone should be able to enjoy the concert. Finally, after the Dave Mason Band concludes its show, a spectacular laser light show will brighten the night sky and will celebrate our community and its wonderful history. It will be a spectacular celebration free of charge to all who attend. There are many people to thank for enabling us to have this celebration, and I want to just take 1 short minute to thank them. To our many community donors, all of whom will be listed on a thank you plaque permanently affixed to City Hall, these donors have been very generous in sharing their time, talents, and resources, all of which we should be grateful for. In addition to the generosity of so many community residents, I want to thank City Manager Bob Kiley and the incredible staff of the City of Lake Forest. Each and every member of the city staff have helped me make this year and this celebration spectacular for September 3rd. And it will be an unforgettable experience for the residents of this community. And they have done all this while continuing to fulfill their own responsibilities and job obligations. We are so fortunate to have such caring individuals working on our behalf, and from everyone in Lake Forest, I want to thank all of them for all they have done over this last year. Hoping that all of you can join us as we celebrate a very special birthday party in Lake Forest. See you there. Thank you all. It's been a wonderful year, and we have so many people to thank, but we could not have done it without the people that work for this city, and we are just so lucky to live here. So thanks, you all. Hope to see you on the 3rd.
Make sure we have standby generators.
I'm sorry? Oh, standby generators? We have 2 coming, and they're big, so we should be set. Thank you. Pray for no rain.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank Mike Rummel, Jack Peslak, and as Debbie mentioned, there's probably about 100 residents who are on that 150 committee, so there's a lot of folks that have helped out during the year, and certainly city staff as well. So again, thanks to all those folks for putting on all the presentations and the events during the year, and we certainly got a lot of fun ahead of us with this Wednesday with Lake Forest Day, and then September 3rd. So thanks again. Thank you, Susan. Concludes my comments. The next item on the agenda is comments by City Manager. Bob Kiley's on vacation, but Karina, I heard you're going to do a communication plan update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. In spite of the torrential storms and downpours that we've had over the last month, we have, as staff, realized we need to enhance the communications with our residents. Unfortunately, when you're out of electricity, that handles internet, as well as sometimes if the cell phone towers are without, it's hard to communicate. But with that, I'd really like to pass it along to Susan Banks and Chief Berger, who's going to provide a brief overview of the communication plan.
Thank you, Karina. Like she said, in light of the recent storms and power outages, the staff has been working very diligently to update its emergency communication plan. And Chief Berger's here tonight to update you on the emergency siren system, which I know we've had a lot of calls from residents wondering what they mean when they go off, when they go on, what they say when the verbal message comes on. And he will also update us on the Code Red emergency notification system. So I will leave that with Chief Berger.
Thanks. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Just a quick update on the emergency outdoor warning sirens. There's a couple of things that some people have been asking us. When are the sirens used and things like that. Just recently, within the last 6 months, maybe a year, we just started to test them on the first Tuesday of each month. So tomorrow you will hear a test, 10 o'clock in the morning, just like the rest of the state of Illinois. Recently they were used for the tornado warning during our first severe weather event in June. Now that's about 3 or 4 events ago, but that was the most recent one. We only use them the sirens are only activated for tornado warnings and man-made disasters that could harm citizens, something like a hazardous material spill or something like that. The city has a total of 13 sirens. All the siren controls are located in the dispatch in the public safety building. So the dispatchers get direction from the fire department supervisor and the police department supervisor to decide when to set off the sirens. Each siren is rated for a 1-mile radius. What we need to remind the citizens is if you hear the outdoor warning sirens, you really need to seek shelter immediately. Please do not call 911. I can't stress that enough. The dispatchers are extremely busy with all kinds of phone calls to begin with, and if we have the residents call after the siren goes off, it just increases their workload by more than 100%. So what we would like is, if the citizens hear the outdoor warning sirens, to take shelter immediately. That's just a map of where the 13 sirens are and the areas that they cover. We have to remember that the sirens are a little bit different than the horns that you hear sometimes at the golf course or at Waveland Park or something like that. Those are specific for lightning in the area, and they're just more like a car horn, a loud car horn, something like that, where the siren is much louder and you will hear a recorded voice after the siren saying, this is a tornado warning, take shelter immediately, or whatever the case may be. Does anybody have any questions on the sirens? Sure, go ahead, Alderman.
Are they wired underground or overhead?
No, they're all radio frequency.
And
So
backup batteries, so
they do have backup batteries, and they also have solar power on each one. So they'll last for a little while, but I don't know how long exactly. Any other questions on that before I go to Code Red? Go ahead, Alderman.
Yeah. When you seek shelter, I think that's when the anxiety begins.
Sure.
How do you know when to come out and see if things are okay? I mean,
Absolutely.
I know when I do, I come out right away while the family waits. But what's the appropriate? What should people? How should they handle that anxiety of seeking shelter, and then when
Sure.
do they come out?
What we recommend when someone seeks shelter is also to have a radio with you, so that you can listen to the radio, find out from the National Weather Service or BBM or WGN when the storm has passed your area. Now, what we will try to do, we're talking about for the future, maybe using the sirens with an all clear sign also, when it would be safe to come out of your shelter. So, any other questions before I go on?
I noticed there was a backup generator on the one siren on Deer Path yesterday, just driving down Deer Path by the golf course. Is that common, or I noticed that in the past? So
Was it on the siren, or was it
it was on the pole where the siren is mounted. So it was.
Yeah, no, I think that was AT&T had that on there, Mayor.
Okay.
They were having some issues out there,
All right.
so. All set, Susan? My able-bodied assistant is going to help us with this next section here. I'd like to talk about a little bit about the Code Red emergency notification system. And while Susan gets that information up, the system can call targeted geographical defined areas, so we can set a radius, or we can call all the phone numbers in the system. One of the most recent uses is when we sent out some information about no refuse pickup during the snowstorm back in February. We've also used it for lawn watering ban and things like that. We recommend that everyone update their information at least once per year, and Susan will show you how easy it is to update your information. This is the regular city website. You click on Police and Fire, Public Safety Overview, then you go to the Code Red notification system, click on that. And then it says customize your contact information. You can click on that. And what that says is you're being directed away from the city website to the Code Red website. We would like you to go past this website security certificate. The city is very highly secure web-wise. So continue past this, please. And once you get to the Code Red website, it will give you an opportunity to put in your address, so your home address. And I think are we going to use City Hall? Yeah. It literally only takes about 5 minutes. Now, what people do here with these phone numbers, you can put in your home phone number, or people put in their cell phone numbers. Some of our residents who are away for part of the year will put in their phone number of wherever they happen to be, Florida or like I said, their cell phone number so that even when they're away, they'll be contacted if there's any issues within the city.
I think it's fairly new.
It'll ask if it's a mobile phone or if it's a regular phone. And that's how easy it is to be done. So, as I said, we would like the residents to update their information at least once per year. You might not have any new phone numbers, but you maybe have moved. You might have a child who needs a cell phone number put in or something like that. So, can I answer any questions you may have?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
One, based on the problem with people dialing 911, would it be possible to send out the code red telephone messages a minute before you hit the sirens so that people are already getting the information on their phone rather than, and tying up their lines so they don't try to call back?
We've talked about that, and we're looking into a way to do that, but because of how busy the dispatchers are, one of them could be doing this, and one of them could be sending out the siren information, but then I wouldn't have anybody to answer phone calls.
How many phones do you hit with a code red broadcast?
We can hit every single phone in the city within about 1 minute. We can do 50,000 calls a minute.
Wow. Could you send out an all clear using code red?
We could do that, yes, so we're looking into that also.
All right. Hey, by the way, it worked for me at the last tornado. I was outside. There was no rain. The wind was kind of picking up, and then I heard the sirens. And I really couldn't understand what they were saying, but I knew it wasn't good. So I went in, and I was inside for about 1 minute, and I got the telephone call saying, take shelter.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And then the power went out.
It worked for that much.
I was in the dark at that point.
Any other questions I can answer? Thank you very much for your time. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the text messaging, yes. When we first bought the Code Red system, we didn't pay for the text messaging portion, the module that goes with that. Right now, our contract is coming up with Code Red, so we'll be looking into either changing the system or adding the text message option to the Code Red system. So,
Are you only on this if you register on this, or are you automatically as a resident of Lake Forest on this?
it depends, Alderman. If you have a listed phone number, you will already be on there. If your phone number is unlisted, you need to put your phone numbers in.
Thank you.
And don't put yourself in the do not call list.
Thank you.
By the way, that's a question. If somebody is on the do not call list, I assume there's an exemption for things like this.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Susan. I know, Chief, you were at the meeting that we had last week with Susan Garrett and a number of other mayors and managers and state reps, and there was a lot of discussion based on how do we get a hold of residents, and certainly one of the topics that came up was, can we get cell phone numbers? And I guess that's the, it's going to be a big issue going forward with all of these storms and updates. Are residents willing to give cell phone numbers so we can contact them for emergencies? So this is a great start, and I think that if we could get more of that information over time, maybe people won't be, as reluctant, knowing that these are certainly protected and the fact that we use them for emergencies only. So it's a great way to communicate, especially when the power goes out. Our next item on the agenda this evening is comments by council members. Any comments at all?
Yeah, just a few quick comments on Public Works, and I promise they will be quick. Just a reminder first on the recycling cart program. Of the initial order of 3,250 carts, 2,350 have been reserved. So we're down to 900 free carts. They can be reserved online through the city website. It's a good idea if there's interest for residents to reserve them now because they're free. There's one per household that's available, so get them while you can. Second thing is the street resurfacing program is underway, and hopefully things will go according to schedule. But as you've noticed, areas across the city are now graded down and ready for blacktopping. Again, surfacing schedules could be obtained through the city website, but hopefully there won't be any weather events that'll disrupt the program from going ahead. And then finally, last item I'd like to mention would be for Parks and Recreation. In addition to the Mass on Lake Forest Day at 8 o'clock, there's a 5K run the Park District is holding that's at 7 o'clock in the morning. We want to have a lot of people out there. Hopefully a lot of aldermen will be out there racing at 7 in the morning. But entries can be put in through the city website, and we're hoping to have a successful program. Maybe 1 or 2 aldermen. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Any other comments by council members? And we'll move on to opportunity for public to address the city council on non-agenda items. Anyone from the public this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items. I will read the 4 items, and then you may take them one or all as you wish. First one is approval of authorized invoices and payrolls. The second being authorization of treasurer's warrants to meet expenses of August 2011. The third is the authorize the mayor and the finance chairman to cancel the bond sale. We talked about this at the July 18th meeting. And 4 is the approval of the minutes from the July 18th, 2011 regular city council meeting. We have anyone wish to
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
roll call vote, please.
Alderman Novit?
Aye.
Alderman Waldeck?
Aye.
Alderman Moore?
Aye.
Alderman Warsh?
Aye.
Alderman Schoenhyder?
Aye.
Alderman Palmer?
Aye.
Alderman Edelman?
Aye.
7 yeas, no nays, motion carries.
Thank you, Bertie. Our next item on the agenda is new business. We have the first being an award of Waveland Park and West Park parking lots resurfacing contract. And we do have the second is an award of a contract for the Telegraph Road right turn lane addition project. I know both of these are Ramesh, you're gonna speak to those. We have a third for the East Train Station roof replacement project, another capital improvement project. So we may wish to consolidate these or have Ramesh, if you want to go through them, or any questions or comments?
Yeah, I think we could consolidate. They're all under bid, under the bid amount. They're all awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, and we've reviewed these pretty substantially, each of the projects, unless you all didn't want to discuss them.
That's correct, Mayor and members of the council. Yeah, these were all part of the last November CIP meeting. Everything was budgeted, and we went out to public bids, got the low bids, and we obviously the first 2 projects we did get quite a good number of bids, and even the roofing project. So I can answer any questions. We hope to have these projects again start in September, especially the West Park and Waveland Park. We discussed with the Parks and Rec Department, coordinated the work with them so that the camps are all done and we can start. And same thing with the right turn lane. We hope to start in September, or late August or September.
Ramesh, I did have a question. I applaud you for doing the right turn lane on Telegraph. That would be a tremendous help to that intersection. The only question I had is why you waited until September, knowing that then you get all the back to school traffic and you kind of add to the issue. Any chance we could have gotten started sooner on this?
Again, like when we discussed this at the last CIP meeting, it was rated as a priority 2 item. So we were looking at the available TIF funds. It was one of the TIF projects. We wanted to make sure that we have the funds available. When we look at all our summer projects, we had the funds available, and one of the reasons why this was put back because of the availability of funds, and that was the only reason. It was not a priority 1, it was a priority 2 project, and funding was the issue, and once we knew that the funding was available, we proceeded with the project.
And what's the time for the completion of that project?
Our aim, again, Alderman, is to get the surface, everything laid by November 1st. We hope to get everything done by November 15th or so.
About 60 days plus or minus.
Right, 60 days, but again, the heavy-duty work will be 30 days, but it's not a major item.
Is there a way to schedule some of the more intense work around before or after the heavy rush in the morning?
Yeah. The way we're trying to address that is like we're going to try to keep the 2 lanes open. Our plan, because most of the work is going to be done on the east side, so we hope to have at least 2 lanes of traffic open for the most time. And during peak hours, we agree. We can look at the situation and try to minimize our impact, but our intent was to keep 2 lanes open.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, in connection with the Telegraph Road project, why are we removing the sidewalk from the overflow parking that crosses Everett Road?
One of the reasons, Alderman, was that's too close to the tracks, and there is not, plus, and then during peak hour, people are trying to rush to go to take that left-bound turn to northbound Waukegan, And we have instances where, first of all, not many pedestrians use that crosswalk, and number two is it was just one of those situations where we don't want to encourage residents walking the parking lot. So what we are doing is from the overflow parking from the fire station, we are going to remove that sidewalk, and then as part of this project, we are putting a sidewalk from fire station 2 along on the east side of Telegraph so that they can cross safely at the intersection of Everett and Telegraph.
Then are you going to remove that little stub of a sidewalk on the north side of Everett also?
That is correct.
And then
Yes.
take out that pedestrian crosswalk?
That's
And
correct.
so then will that center lane be extended more to the west?
No, I think that's part of our, that's the other project, which, we are trying to seek some federal funds for that. That's the big project is to extend that right turn lane as you head eastbound on Everett and then taking a right turn to southbound Waukegan.
I mean the left turn lane, the center lane where people stack up to make the northbound turn on Waukegan. If you restriped it and brought that center lane back closer to Telegraph Road, it would allow more cars to stack up for the left turn.
Yeah, I think.
Which they couldn't do with the pedestrian crosswalk because you had that post in the...
Right, I know. Yeah. I think we took the post actually last year out because it got hit many times. So that was because, again, the buses were having a tough time making that turn. So I think with this project, we're trying to just eliminate the crosswalk and keep those left turn, because if you extend the left turn lanes, then we're going to have by Everett and Telegraph, then the traffic starts backing up there. We're trying to make sure that through traffic can get through. And we did modify the signal. So I know that last year we could get only maybe 5 cars. Now we are at least getting 8 to 9. We did modify the signal timings.
Yeah.
We talked to ICC and IDOT, and we timed it so that when the trains do leave, that there's more green signal for eastbound and westbound Everett. So we did work on that.
I leave it to your staff to tweak it.
We'll look into it, definitely.
Okay.
And just brief comment, and, trading emails during the day, we kind of touched on this, but first, congratulations, because the project's being brought in about $54,000 under budget, and you can't beat that. It's just timing. The only concerns I have are, and they're positive concerns, with the TIF funding being available. Great, we have $54,000 more room under the TIF that we have that's going to expire in December. And I'm sure city staff is looking for ways to apply what's available before the TIF funding expires. So if we could get anything else in,
Right.
let's jump on it.
No, you're right, Alderman. We did have a call for projects among all the city staff. So we are, you're going to see as in the next few months the bids for the roofing, and again, some of the other projects, the streetscape projects, going to come forward to you at the next council meeting. So we are looking into, and then a big piece of that TIF balance is reserved for the pedestrian underpass, which we are seeking federal grants. We, as mayor knows, we made it to the second list for one of the grants. We applied 2 grants, and if we get that, then the 20% local match, we like to use these TIF funds for that. So I know that the timing is against us. If the federal government does provide us with the grant, we can apply these TIF funds for that underpass. That'll be great. So.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about the federal government. They're swimming in money.
Oh,
That's right, yeah.
but if we could get it, it would be a home run, so, yeah.
That's correct, right. And again, if it is unused, it goes back to the citizens, in the schools. So it's not like it's going back to the state. It still stays with the city. So.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the 3 items under the new business?
Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that the third item be separate as a vote from the first. If you want to consolidate the first 2, that's not a problem, but the third one does involve some grant monies. We want to make sure the minutes are clear that that's been separately approved.
Very good.
Okay.
Well,
Can I make a motion to approve the first 2 items?
Second.
it's a roll call vote on the first 2 items.
Alderman Novit?
Aye.
Alderman Waldeck? Aye. Alderman Moore?
Aye.
Alderman Morsch?
Aye.
Alderman Schoenhyder?
Aye.
Alderman Palmer?
Aye.
Alderman Nadelman?
Aye.
7 yeas, no nays, motion carries.
Thank you, Bertie.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the new roof for the East Side train station.
Second.
Roll call vote as well.
Alderman Novit?
Aye.
Alderman Waldeck? Aye. Alderman Moore?
Aye.
Alderman Morsch?
Aye.
Alderman Nadelman?
Aye.
Alderman Schoenhyder?
Aye.
Alderman Palmer?
Aye.
7 yeas, no nays, motion carries.
Thank you, Bertie. Any other additional items for council discussion? This evening? We do have one item that I did not mention earlier, but certainly would like to give our condolences to the Burns family on the passing of their daughter, which is a very, very tragic accident on a camping trip out west. As we know, as many of you know, Alderman Burns served here for 6 years. I served with Alderman Burns for 6 years as a fellow alderman, and our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to the Burns family. That's just a very tragic event to happen, and anything we can certainly do for them, we certainly would keep them in our thoughts and prayers as well. So, any other items, topics? No? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.